Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Amateur Weekly Cup Revival for 2014. Tonight it will be a best of three between Killam and Mirage Australia. My name is Coldblood, and joining me for this best of three will be Hawksbuck. How are you, boss?
10 seconds to go.
You doing good, Hawks?
Dyer's ban.
Are you there? Are you there, Hawks? Alright, well, we might go ahead and jump into the hero select here. Alright, so Hawks having a problems, guys. We're into the hero select between the two teams. So far, we can see Timbersaw, Bristleback, OD have been banned out. There is one more ban for the Dyer team. And we saw in the Australian meta that, of course, Clockwork Timbersaw very, very popular. Looks like Bristleback also going to get banned. Marana was picked very much during the defense of the Australians, so not surprised to see her taken out. And we're expecting a lot of single target lockdown coming out from both the teams. Has been popular lately. And you're right there now, Hawks.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Alright, cool.
Okay, so how are you, boss?
Dyer's pick.
I think it stopped again. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah?
Every time I tab into Dota, it's killing the mic.
Oh, we could try talking in game.
I'll see. Can you hear me, Ingo?
Yeah? Oh, hang on. I'll have to
10 seconds
take it
to
off
go.
mute co-broadcaster. Where's that? Off.
5 seconds.
Alright, so try talking now.
Check.
Yep.
Check 1, 2.
Yep, can hear you in game.
Alright, cool. We'll just use that then.
Alright. So, how are you, Hawks? Can I hear you? Okay, so while we wait for that to get sorted out, sorry ladies and gents, got a bit of the problems with Hawksbuck's new laptop. So we can see Crystal Maiden already being locked in for Mirage Australia, the I thought Mirage Gaming, but they are of course represented by Oz. 1 second. There we go. Okay, so of course, CM does bring along the Frostbite, which helps a lot early on. The Arcane Aura can be great for the spamming champions or spamming heroes like the Storm Spirit or indeed the Bristleback, who they themselves did ban out. And then she does bring Crystal Nova, which is good at counter pushing, which is going to be very handy as Death Prophet and Venomancer have been picked up by Killam. Of course, DP, very, very strong pusher. Exorcism tears apart the towers, and Crypt Swarm tears apart the creep waves. And then Venomancer, just an all-round good support. Venomous Gale becomes a very, very strong slow with a lot of damage over time as well. And it lasts a long time as well. It is fatal damage, I do believe. Just trying to help Hawks out with where to find it. So audio down the bottom, and we're waiting for Mirage Australia to pick up their last pick for the time being. They know they're going against a Veno in potentially the off lane if we have a defensive tri lane from both of the teams. Will they go for another support, or will they go for their mid, knowing that it is Death Prophet, who very annoying to go against as something that likes to be mobile, like the Storm Spirit or whatever, as her silence can be. Alright, so we'll just call Hawks again. Sorry about the sound, guys. Looks like Windrunner going to be picked up. Can you hear me, Hawks?
Radiant's banned.
Yes, sir, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Cool.
Sweet.
The comic of errors right now.
Okay, let me just try and let's have a look at that. Alright, so can you still hear me?
Sure can, dude. Can you hear me?
Yes. Alright, we got it all figured out, finally. So, if you can see it, Hawks, like I can, we've got the CM and the Windrunner picked up by Mirage Gaming. Killam have gone with the Death Prophet and the Veno. There was a lot of off-lane Windrunner in both defense of the Australians and the Australian Esports League in the past week and a bit, so we can assume this is going off-lane for the time being, but, I mean, Frostbite into Shackle could be a very deadly support combo, so what are you thinking at the moment?
Yeah, that'll work. I'd suggest like Windrow is quite strong on that offlane, and with most of those offlanes already being taken out, the Bristle, the Timber, and the Marana, pretty logical reasoning so
10
far.
seconds to 10
We've got a lot of
seconds to
push
go.
so far from O'Gillum. We've got Death Prophet and the Venom,
5
so
seconds.
that's a whole bunch of I'll take your towers, please, and thank you.
Yeah, it's
Reserve
a lot of
time.
push, a lot of counter push. The CM going to be very handy for the Frost Nova. We'll have to see if she levels it up. And a shout out to Iku Sora, who's wants to report you for being AFK. And they just want to know how you're doing, Hawk, so they'll catch up in a couple of minutes' time. We can see Nature's Prophet being taken out by Mirage.
Dire's
Very, very
banned.
smart choice, as if you're dealing with a Death Prophet, you do not also want to have the off lanes being pushed by a Mushroom Man. We got the Doom and the Shadow Shaman taken out as well, and Rubik will be copping a ban, which may
Dire's
mean
pick.
that Killam wants to go for some big teamfight ultimates, like the Enigma, maybe the Sand King Nagasar, and things like that.
Yeah, that's a fair enough assumption. I mean, they've already got a significant amount of team fight already through the Poison Nova and Exorcism. So, yeah, you could be 100% right in calling that.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what
10
the Dire
seconds
team
to
decide
10
to go
seconds
for
to
here.
go.
They could go for another support, or they could decide to pick
5
up maybe
seconds.
their carry. Something like a Lifestealer would be decent against the CM Windrunner. Able
Reserve
to...
time.
Well, I mean, he can be kited fairly well, but he can go Magic Immune. No, they're going to go Slark for their offlane. He's been
Radiant's
very
pick.
popular lately. Despite the nerfs to his damage, he is incredibly slippery. It only takes a little bit of time for him to start snowballing, and he hits like an absolute truck. Once he starts doing that, of course, using his hit and runs. So if Slark is... Oh, there you go, the lifesteal actually picked up by Mirage
Dire's
Gaming,
pick.
and I do like that against the Slark. I do believe his Pounce's leash cannot be used on a magic immune target.
Yeah, no, he would be able to escape from that, but also it'll be able to kind of negate the damage done through the Poison Nova and Exorcism temporarily, albeit, but even so, that's still a significant
Radiant's
amount
pick.
of damage block. And we've got a VS picked up. I'm pretty sure that the Nether Swap does go through
Yes,
Rage.
it does go through magic immunity.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good pickup there. It'll enable her to essentially save her allies, swapping her out of the lifestealer's melee range.
No, yeah, that is a good thing to point out. Peeling off the lifestealer can be
10
difficult,
seconds
but
to
not
go.
if you are the Vengeful Spirit. She will boost her team's damage. I mean, Venno, he
5
gets some
seconds.
decent right-clicking because he does scale off of agility. Slark, if he gets attacking quickly, will
Reserve
steal a lot of
time.
agility himself. So the Vengeance Aura gonna boost that damage that they get from their agility, and then DP probably gonna go Phase Boots to abuse that very fast movement speed she's got with the Witchcraft. So gonna have a lot of damage, right-click damage on their team, and of course they haven't even picked their carry yet. I would not assume that Slark is going with the VS and the Venno, just because he does need the levels in the Dark Pact and the Pounce to really get moving. And Jakira going to be picked up here. He's a great
Dire's
disengager with the Ice Path, so there's going to be a lot of ice in the supporting for Mirage Australia.
Radiant's
And
banned.
of course, we talked about the single target stuns before, Hawks. Haven't seen much of Vengeful Spirit lately, but you get a magic missile which does a lot of damage considering it's point and click, and then you get a venomous gale on top of that. Going to be very difficult to deal with.
Radiant's pick.
Well, it looks like we might have a DK carry.
Oh, well, normally when Dragon Knight's picked up lately, he's gone in the middle, but
Yeah.
Death Prophet would be a lot stronger there, so I think you may be right.
Yeah, I'd say the DP would be heading into mid, then yeah, DK would be up top with a tri-lane of Venno and VS.
That's a
And,
lot of lockdown.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, a lot of damage to early game with the fire
10
breath,
seconds to
with the
go.
breathe fire even, and obviously the Venno
5
and
seconds.
VS stun. I mean, if they're out of position there, you could probably expect to kill there. And yeah, a bit of Vokes. Don't mind.
Well, the Storm
Don't
Spirit
mind.
was banned out by OKE, so they were expecting more of the mobile style, but Mirage Australia are going to go for more of the combo Sunstrike from the mid lane. Invoker did cop a nerf to his base damage recently, so you have to start Exhort or you're going to lose in the lane control. But saying that, Hawks, in the defense of the Australians lane I went to, there was an Invoker who went for the Quas Wex build, and he was disarming people for a million years. He was silencing them, knocking them up for ages, and they'd come down and smack their head on the ground. And of course the EMP, I'm not sure which one we're going to see coming out here, but we pointed out the Crystal Maiden and the Jakiro lockdown. Even the open wounds from Lifestealer does a significant slow, so Sunstrike very much going to be able to land here.
Yeah, there'll be enough lockdown to be able to get some Sunstrikes off in lane as well, but I'm not sure what kind of Invoker we'll see. Obviously, not knowing the specific players just yet. This is the first time that I've casted either of these teams, I believe. So.
Yeah, same for me. I am looking forward to seeing them in action. I'll just quickly check if my mic is on in game, because it kind of needs to be. It is. So hopefully they can hear me now. We'll go through the teams while we have a pause. So representing Mirage Gaming in this first of the best of three, playing the Crystal Maiden with the long flowing locks, it is Blackout. Joining him in the support role, Kichwa on the Jakiro. For their carry, it will be Sledgehammer on the Lifestealer. He needs quite a bit of time to hit like a sledgehammer. We have in the mid lane, Invoker will be Guide, and rounding them out on the off lane, it is the Windrunner, played by Sky.
Yeah, well, they haven't just jumped into lanes quite yet, but we can probably safely assume that's how they'd want to lane, and Crystal Maiden can also jump in the jungle a bit at bot there and pick up a few little bits of solo EXP. For the Oki guys, OKE or O'Kill'em, we've got Crank Midget. He'll be playing the Slark. And we've got Commander Hill. He is he's picking a hero. Which one is he? He's Venom.
Yep, the Venomancer.
Yep. Then we've got is that short for Turbulence? I'm gonna guess.
Turbulence? Yeah, Turbulence.
Turbulence, yeah.
Without any vowels.
Yes. yeah, just having a random guess there. He'll be on the Vengeful Spirit. Then we've got Christina Perry on the DK there, and we have Ice 3 or Ice Squared on the
Ice Cubed, I think that'd be.
Ice Cubed, yeah, Ice Cubed.
Been a while since you're at school, Hawks.
Well, I just got back into school, man, so, you know.
Yeah, and the last thing you want to do is go into Dota and try and work out what the names are. Okay, so we got both the teams heading out here. Of course, the smoke's going to be picked up by Blackout and by Turbulence. Commander Hillbilly still having a bit of trouble selecting his items. They will throw out another pause, this time by the Mirage Gaming guys. Thankfully for O'Kill'em, sorry, that one of their supports isn't connected yet. Venno startup lag. Looks like both teams heading to the same area, Hawk, so we don't see a lot of level 1 fighting, but who do you think would come out if a brawl started?
Oh,
it's a tough question for sure.
I'd have to go ahead and say the O'Kill'em guys would have a better level 1 starting team. I mean, there's not that much damage on Mirage. I mean, they do have a little bit more lockdown at level 1, but I mean, if Slark kind of decides to take his essence shift there and they're able to get a VS done off, I mean, I doubt he would, but he could potentially take that if he goes in last. I mean, that'll be a shitload of damage if it's a level 1 fight. Then also, he's also got the Pounce too, which doesn't do terrible damage. Then you're going to have the Spirit Ghost, which is a fairly low cooldown spell. You've got your Breathe Fire. I'd say that they'd be in a favour of a level 1 team fight if it's going to be the case, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like they're going to break up and go to separate lanes.
Yeah, so they're gonna back away from that one. We do have the pings coming out from Sky on the Windrunner. It looks like they want to pop the smoke and maybe get an aggressive ward down, maybe try and block off the Ancients or something like that with the Sight of a Ward. I'm remembering the first level 1 fight I saw in Dota Hawks, and there was a Visage on one team who, of course, took Soul Assumption. You can imagine what happened in that fight. Let's say there was 2 kills, and they both went to the Visage, and that was it. There was a lot of damage going out, only 2 people dying. But looks like Mirage not going to be as aggressive as we initially thought. They're going to start spreading out now. And it looks as though we do have the supports hanging out with Slark at the moment, so they may decide to go for an aggressive tri-lane down here to try and shut down this Lifestealer's farming. And we've got the DP going top against a Windrunner. Now both of them very much able to push quickly. And I mean, both can push towers very well as in addition. So that's an interesting move from OKE. Do you think it'll pay off?
Oh, look, I think that lane would be fine. The only thing is, I would have guessed DP having her, kind of roaming and controlling the runes would have been a little bit more effective than the DK. The DK they could have thrown up top, and he could have just ignored all kinds of harass once he gets a few points up in Dragon's Blood.
I guess they want the Dragon Knight to be involved in these fights, and fair enough, when he gets the Dragon Tail stun ranged with his ultimate, he is very, very difficult to deal with. Immediately we see the counter warding going on by the Mirage Gaming guys. They know exactly what they need to be doing in this situation. We'll have to see if OKE can make it work out for them. Blackout going to help himself to a double damage rune. Has started off with the Crystal Nova. I thought it was Frost Nova. That must be the Lich's Q. And in the mid lane, we do see the Wex Invoker has been skilled, so going to be moving around very quickly, but will, as you can see, have a lot of trouble last hitting and controlling there. So we can see the Crystal Nova going to go on to Turbulence, and a pause comes out just as the Veno disconnects. Is Ice Path available? No, he actually started with Liquid Fire. So that's something I've never seen before, Hawks. I assume you start with Ice Path and, try and set things up.
Well, yeah, especially in a trial lane, that's definitely what I would have wanted to do. And I can guarantee you now, if he had the Ice Path, this would be a free kill, because that double damage has still got, a significant amount of time there. So without the Ice Path, that VS is definitely dead. But she might be okay, because I'd suggest the Slark would come in here, and you know what, they might even be able to turn it around if the Veno's able to get in a position and I suppose block the Lifestealer off there, because he does have a point up in Essence shift there. So if they're caught out of position, get pounced on, we could potentially see a turnaround here, which would be pretty cool, because I'd say they'll be wanting to go for this kill right now, because they do have that double damage up, so we're more than likely going to see a fight break out, I'd say.
Well, the Vengeful Spirit has more movement speed than either of them. Liquid Fire does... no, it only slows attack speed, not move speed, so I think Turbulence is going to get a free route out of here, and they may try and turn it around. We talked about how Slark is dependent on levels, but he's being left alone with the Lifestealer. They're both getting free experience, both halfway through the level 2, with of course the supports duking it out in the river. Lifestealer doesn't look like he's headed anywhere near the fight at the moment. It's interesting they started with Crystal Nova and the Liquid Fire. It tells me they really wanted to push, and they didn't expect to get a catch this early on, because like you said, Frostbite and Ice Path definitely would have led to this squishy Vengeful Spirit going down.
Oh, Ice Path would definitely be killed here, I'd say. I mean, a DD is a DD at level 1. It doesn't really matter who it's on.
Yeah, she's 38 plus 38. It's not the most damage, but of course double does mean something. Up the top, we can see that how's the Death Prophet and the Windrunner doing? Windrunner has a couple more last hits at the moment, but there are a bunch of creeps on the way for the Death Prophet to go. So do you reckon they should have put DP in the mid?
Oh, that's what I would have went with, and I kind of would have went with a farming safe lane, or it's not really the safe lane, is it, these days? I'm still 100% not sure. I haven't played much Dota since they've changed the lanes quite significantly. But yeah, I probably would have stuck the DK up at top, because I mean the damage and push from a roaming DP would be far more significant than a DK, I would have thought.
Yeah, they may have been expecting a mirrored move from the Mirage Gaming guys to send their tri-lane to the top or something like that. So, and of course Death Prophet would do much better in a 1v3 than the Dragon Knight. But of course, once you get DK to the level 6, he does the dot on his attack. He of course gets the range stun, and he can deal with harass from an Invoker very easily with the Dragon Blood passive. Windrunner would be able to burst him down a lot easier. So maybe they just kind of said, you go mid, you go top kind of thing.
Look, I'd say, I mean, either lane DK would not have too much of an issue with kind of either ways. DK, once he's got that Dragon Blood up, he really wouldn't mind either ways. There's quite a long break and play, but yeah, I'm really interested to see what happened, because currently this VS is still slow. I think she's slowed for another half a second. Let's have a look at the cooldown of Crystal Maiden. What is it?
12 seconds. Very significant cooldown early on.
Yeah, so yeah, for another half a second she'll be slowed.
Trying to look at Slark, and there's this beautiful son of a bee in front of him on the banner. I don't know if you can see that, Hawks. I'm guessing that's one of the OKE guys. And then you have a look in the mid lane. They've got a different picture on the ground up near the tier 3 turret. I don't think it's the guy on the banner anyway. So if you look where my map is, hang on, I can ping it. There we go. If you look there, it's a bit of a different picture.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there is definitely a danger in letting the Kill 'em guys farm, because their mid game is absolutely superb. They've got Slark, who we already talked about, him being very, very slippery. VS and Veno both put out a lot of damage without items, and then Vengeful Spirit, of course, can swap. Yeah, like you said, the Lifestealer out. She can run into the middle of the enemy team, get off a nice wave of terror to reduce their armor, and then swap the Lifestealer away from her team. And then, of course, you've got DK and Death Prophet, both of who do a lot of sustained damage with their ultimates particularly. But even then, they've got nukes for pushing the waves, and then Dragon Knight just becomes ridiculous once he's picked up the Black King bar, maybe a Sanjin Yasha, or anything like that. As we are waiting for the Veno to reconnect here. What do Mirage Gaming have? It looks like they're going for that utility invoker that I was talking about before. And we'll have a look at the spells here. I know that what is it? Which one is it? The Deafening Blast. That disarms for a very long time, 4 seconds, and then knocks back as well. So it's we're going to see a lot of tornadoes, a lot of EMPs, a lot of deafening blasts, less of the gigantic damage. So I'd expect maybe a Force Staff and Sheep Stick over something like a Blink or a Yule Scepter.
Well, if he's gone, yeah, Quas West, he would actually probably pick up. I mean, generally speaking, you do want to pick up that Yule Scepter, because it works with the movement speed that you get from Wax.
Yep, that's very true.
So, you know, and you can also line up all your other spells, such as Chaos Meteor and Sunstriker. Even though you won't be leveling those till later, it still gives you that utility to be able to set it up. Even EMP, like if you lift somebody before it explodes, that's kind of what you want. So yeah, you'd see probably more than likely that item, your phase boots and Force Staff, as you said.
Yeah, well, the nice thing for Guide on the Invoker is that EMP drains mana, flat mana, and he's against a strength hero, and they are not known for their large mana pools, so he's going to be able to cripple the Dragon Knight if he lands the EMP, which, like you say, Yules would help with a lot. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. Looks like he's taking a lot of damage, though. He's got his blue orbs around. He hasn't been able to get Invoke just yet because he wants that health regen, and he's got a salve popped. So Christina Perry, we can assume it's a he, but it could be a she, is doing very well for themselves at the moment at the 5 last hits to the 3 and 2 of the Invoker, because of course his damage very, very low at the 43, is rivaling the support Vengeful Spirit there, is only at level 1.
Yeah, Invoker starts off a little bit slow these days. But, I mean, the thing you got to remember is with the EMP drain, once the Dragon Knight gets his bottle, he's not really going to care a great deal, because he'd only be able to do that every once in a while. and he's more than likely going to have a higher sense of rune control. I mean, unless his bot supports do really well as far as controlling the bot rune goes. But once that Slark gets a few levels, I think that's going to be pretty tough for him. So we'll probably see rune domination from the Oki guys. And if that's the case, then he's not going to be particularly worried about the meta drain, even though he is, a strength hero.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair enough. So we'll have a look at Mirage's lineup while we wait for this Venomancer to reconnect. He's definitely getting the Scumbag of the Night award. They've got the CM and the Jakiro. Pretty nice supports to have. Not the biggest playmakers. Jakiro can be, though, with the Ice Path, of course, and they can both lay out a decent bit of damage, but late game they do taper off a bit. I'd say Vengeful Spirit among the most useful just because she gives so much without a single item. You've got the Windrunner, who very, very strong mid-game, but late game she goes from a semi-carry to more of a, she's all about the shackle shot, really. And then, of course, if they win a fight, she'll be able to destroy towers. They've got the Invoker, who is going to go for that utility build, at least early on. And then, of course, you've got the Alacrity, which you'll be able to put on the Lifestealer. He can stack some more damage, and he is leading the CS with the 5-2 at the moment, so they're going to have to try and control him, which, to be fair, it looks like they have their intent on that, because Lifestealer will be a lot of their damage later on.
Oh, yeah, they do have the lane capability there to shut him down, and that's what they went for with the Slark. I was kind of expecting him to be the solo and maybe DK as the hard carry, but this is probably a better choice because if that lifesteal does get out of control, it does get a bit ridiculous. However, I mean, the DK has a ridiculous amount of armor. The Slark is hard to kill, so the more kind of the carries on the Oki teams, they're I suppose adept at dealing with that lifesteal, because obviously he's all quite heavy physical damage, and those two there being pretty adept at dealing with that, especially if they get an AC rolling up. Like that's a significant kind of damage reduction against that lifestealer in particular, and that's pretty much going to be their primary source of damage. And yippee-ki-yay, he's reconnecting now, the Veno.
Sweet. So we did well there, Hawks, holding out till the Veno reconnects, so we should be looking at him reconnecting any second here. We've got some drawings coming out from the Crystal Maiden, who is, of course, black out over in this area near the Ancients. I don't know if that's just boredom or they want to try and loop around and take out the AFK Veno. That would be incredibly bad-mannered, but
no, not going to happen.
No. They're much too slow. We already pointed out their move speed. Vengeful Spirit 5 faster than the Twin-Headed Dragon and 15 faster than the Jaina Proudmoore ripoff. So as we move into the mid-game here, assuming that no craziness happens, we can assume craziness will happen at the tri-lane down bot. If the supports stay put, and we have an Invoker, a Dragon Knight, a Windrunner, and a Death Prophet all farming nicely, I wonder what these mid-game fights are going to look like.
Oh, dude, if I was a betting man, which I am, I'd put money on Oki having the more powerful team game. I mean, they do have that Slark who brings decent nuke to the table, and his agility drain there. That's going to be a lot to deal with. Same goes with those spirits and the DK. It's going to be quite difficult to win a team fight if I had to bet, unless the Invoker has a really good early start. He'll be capable in shutting down.
Yeah, looks like he may be going for drums of endurance early on. He has both of the components of the bracer, so he's going very defensive against this Dragon Knight early on. And, we're waiting for the Veno. He's having some troubles with his client. Probably not the first one. They've been very dodgy lately. Having a look at the Mirage Gaming banner over in this area. That's looking pretty cool, MRG. It's certainly more professional looking than their opponents, you can give them that.
Oh, 100%. There's no argument in that one. They win that team fight.
So I have to see if they can hold up to that when it comes to matching their skills against the opponent. So looking at the bottom lane, Slark, very, very difficult to grab onto. Lifestealer, he does have windows of opportunity where you can abuse him, because of course he is purely melee. He can only farm in melee range. Slark as well, but he is very, very slippery. With the Nether Swap goes through the Rage's magic immunity, similarly to a Black King bar. So we know that they have that to initiate, and then he's going to go straight into a Venomous Gale and the Poison Touched Plague Wards. But going to take a long time for the supports to get to level 6 the way things are going. We're pretty sure the Vengeful Spirit's going to escape at the moment. Do you think, Hawks, that they the Mirage Gaming guys might look to do some ward blocking of the Ancient Camp to stop it getting stacked up? Because that's a very likely possibility with the OKE supports here. They could stack up that Ancient Camp, and Dragon Knight be able to take it down very easily once he picks up the level 2 ultimate where he gets the splash.
Oh, definitely, man. That's always the case in competitive play. That's always up for grabs there, essentially. I've got a feeling though that Oki, like they won't be looking for that kind of approach though, like sit and farm. I think with their lineup, like they're going to be trying to force those team fights early and trying to get that early push on. We do have the Veno back in the game, and the G's are going out from MRG, just waiting on the Oki guys.
Yeah, to be fair, they've been pretty patient when the other pause happened. They made sure the other team was ready before they went ahead and resumed.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if O'Killam have a stand-in, because this is getting kind of worrying. This has been we've only 1 minute 22 into the game. It's been at least 15 minutes of waiting now.
Well, there you go. Hopefully, the listeners and viewers aren't bored out of their brains yet. We've managed to keep them going.
Yeah, well, we've got Twistle Meth saying that they have reconnected and are ready to go. So I don't know if that actually means anything, but oh, okay, we're ready to go now, Hawks, finally, and I'll just tell him that it's all good.
Right, carry on.
And Hillbilly finally into the game, gonna turn around, and immediately the Mirage Gaming guys back off. You know, it's been a long pause when even the disengage in the river is exciting.
Yeah, fair enough.
Still no points in the invoke from Glide. He's going purely for the attack speed and movement speed, which is very interesting. He doesn't want any of those invoked abilities. We have the Liquid Fire auto attack coming out on Commander Hillbilly, and now Crank Midget going to be forced back. He wants to try and get the Shadow Dance up so that he can back off and regenerate his health very, very quickly when he's out of vision. And now all of the supports of the bottom lane are ready for action. We'll have to keep a key eye here. Both of these, or you can call them carries, I guess, both of the damage dealers here are purely melee. They need to get up close to farm. Slark, he can of course pounce around and use his Dark Pact, but not going to be able to easily farm there. They're going to go the pounce, and they're going to land onto Blackout. Immediately the Frost Nova is put down. Their open wounds used onto the Slark. He can't get away too easily, and now Kichwa going to be going forward with Sledgehammer. Very, very slow fight with the amount of AoE slows that are there between CM and Jakiro, and then of course the Venomancer. Everyone moving very, very slowly, and I'd say that I don't know who came out ahead in that one, Hawks.
A couple of pots were popped. I'd have to say that it was a fairly even fight. I don't think that his team was quite ready for that engage. The supports were positioned back, I don't know, let's say a couple of hundred units, just a little bit too far. Otherwise, it would have been a really good engage. And I suppose what you were saying earlier in the mid, there's no real need for him to go invoke just yet if he's going Quasm Wex, because it's really not going to make that much of a difference. I mean, he doesn't even have a single point in the exhort yet, so yeah.
Yeah, definitely fair enough. So the invisibility rune will spawn up the top part of the river. Neither of the mid laners want to go for it, though they much prefer the gold and experience. Up the top, we have 11 last hits to win run at 10 to the Death Prophet. They're both denying a little bit as well. So just a passive farm first for the time being, and it'll probably become even more so when they can clear those waves from range. So with the Jakiro leveling the Liquid Fire first, it's working out very, very well for him. He's able to throw out that AoE harass every couple of seconds. It may have been to react to the 1v3, and now we see the engage go onto the Slug. He will pounce out of there. Venomous Gale will land onto Kitchka. Blackout going to take a lot of damage from the creeps, but Turbulence, is he going to eat his way through the jungle? He does indeed, and now they turn around to CM. She is so squishy, and Crank Midget will get the first blood. You could see that Essence Shift take away her stats there, and now Wave of Terror will go back out. First blood going the way of OKE, with very nice kiting by Turbulence on the Vengeful Spirit there, using his tangos to get through, and Crystal Nova will not do too much. So first blood going the way of Slark, picked himself up in Orb of Venom, so it's even harder to get away from him. And I have to say, Hawk, that was very well played.
Yeah, that was a great turnaround there. They noticed the CM taking a fair amount of damage from the creeps there, and yeah, I suppose took advantage of the over-aggressiveness by her.
Yep, are you there, Hawks?
Yeah, did you not hear that?
The last couple of words were cut off.
Ah.
Might have been some with me. Okay, so shout out to Twistle Meth, who I just realised what his name is. That's pretty clever. It's talking to us in the Twitch chat. So this Slug, he's not afraid to use his pounce aggressively, has a 16-second cooldown, so he's not going to be able to disengage with that. But the Venomous Gales have been on point from Commander Hillbilly. We have the Phase Boots picked up by the Invoker, so he's only getting faster. Arcane Boots finished up by Ice Cubed at the top, does now have Exorcism. Sky is working on more points in the Power Shot to be able to push those waves back. And Sledgehammer, despite having First Blood against him, will pick up his own Phase Boots, so he'll be able to disengage. Is well, he's sitting at level 4. The supports are at 3 and 3 on that side. Vengeful Spirit just hit 3 herself. Now the wards are going to start to go down. Will be harassing the Lifestealer a little bit, but nothing too easy to get away from. And now Mirage going to do their own pause, and I'd say kill him very much obliged to wait for them here.
Oh, you'd hope so after
after that 5-year wait. I can't complain, says Hillbilly. Okay, so we'll have a look at the farm here. Going very well for almost everyone, really. Slark is the only one lagging behind a little bit, but you can excuse him for that one with picking up the first blood. We'll have a look at net worth, and he is sitting 7 gold behind the Lifestealer, so the game very, very even at this point in time, but we did point out the push power from Killam, and we have to wonder when they're going to decide to employ that.
Oh, dude, we do have the DP who's just cracked level 6 there. Also, I mean, the DK is going to be probably sitting in mid, I don't know, till about maybe level 7 or so, till he gets that 4th point, and then we'll probably see a little bit more action. G's are going out, and the game is resumed.
It's easy being a cameraman here. All we have to do is sit at bot and wait for the engage to go out, because in the other 2 lanes, not a lot is going on, and it looks like the OKE guys want to get some pushing going on, or at least Hillbilly wants to try and throw some wards out. Nice wave of terror going out there, hitting everyone, puts them in the negative armor. Jakiro and CM both not known for durability, so that wave of terror will be key there. Kitchwa going to try and take down the ward. He does indeed, gives him 15 gold, so always nice as a spot to have a little bit of income. EMP going to land onto Christine Perry in the mid. Instantly all of his mana is gone, and Guide finally picks up the invoke, has Cold Snap, which he'll be easily able to continually proc thanks to Wex's massive attack speed gain. And up the top, the tower still looking pretty good here, Hawk. So Exorcism not yet being used, of course, doesn't have the mana for it. At the bottom lane, a big Liquid Fire auto attack going to come out and hit everyone in OKE. But things definitely slowing down for the time being.
Yeah, indeed, and as I was saying, that's Oh, wow.
Yeah, just as we say that, the engage goes out, Vengeful Spirit instantly falls. Actually got killed by a creep, so the gold will be
Radiant's mid
equally
tower
split
could
there.
use a hand.
Not the worst thing to happen. The Dragon Knight gonna start busting away at the
Radiant's
mid
mid
tower
tower's
while
coming
his lane
apart.
opponent runs down to bot. Was not needed in the end. We have face boots picked up by the Windrunner now, so we have purple boots all over the
Radiant's
place.
mid tower's getting banged up.
And, well, since the kill didn't go to Lifestealer, I would assume that, oh, actually, Lifestealer farming much better than the Slug at the moment, which you would expect with, you know, Lifestealer's able to just sit up close if he wants. In the mid lane, we have a bit of fisticuffs going on, both of them just, well, both of them moving quite fast. So you can see the Blackout going to head here. Does have 2 points in the Arcane Aura, so going for global passive presence rather than in combat. Whereas Jakiro is actually... Oh, they're going to pop the smoke here. Are they going to make use of it? The Dragon Knight is a little bit far forward, and the Invoker going to disconnect as they pop that smoke.
Man, we have had all kinds of errors this game, haven't we? Me not getting the mic going initially. You putting on all chat.
Yeah, that if the teams
Yeah.
could hear each other, it may be a little difficult to be competitive. Well, as Newton's third law, no, the law of anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I forget who said that at first.
Sorry, I'm just reading this banter, and I'm like, oh yeah, this game. I would have rage quit this game 1,000 years ago if it's still on Dota 1.
1,000 years. It's yeah, fair enough too. Okay, so we have the just the wards at bot, definitely making up for the ward that got taken out earlier on. I'm wondering if this smoke is going to be used well. We have the invisibility rune up the top. It still hasn't been picked up by either of the mids. They did not want to miss out on the XP and the gold. Invoker still invisible. He will now reconnect, so will they be able to make something happen here? Tornado and EMP both off of cooldown, and the DK sitting at about 70% of his health. Although the way the supports are moving, Hawks, they may be headed to the top lane.
If anything, I probably would say they'd go on the DK there just before he gets too beefy, too hard to kill. Because just before Invoker did bust out all of his damage and did do a significant amount there. So yeah, the Invis rune getting picked up, and they are going to swing around in the mid. Are they going to pick up the kill?
Well, Dragon Knight will get frostbited up here, going to get ice pudded as well. Cold Snap continually going on him. He uses his wand and does a lot of damage to the Jakiro. Will actually pick up the kill thanks to that nuke, and the 1-for-1 trade goes out. Assists going the way of Mirage Gaming. Very nicely done by the Dragon Knight to react to that one, throw out the fire. He used his wand and his bottle to get enough mana to use that one, and in the end, quite an even pick. We can see that of course the rune not going to spawn for another minute and a bit. Guide headed up to the top lane to try and deal with this Death Prophet. She does have enough mana for a silence. That's about it. Guide just waiting off to the side for potential shackle.
Yeah, there might be a chance for a kill here. They do go in. The tornado does land, but the shackle shot doesn't. But it's going to be a kill anyway. Huge amounts of damage coming out from that cold snap, dude.
Yeah, power shot just does a massive amount of damage if channeled up, and a Guide going to secure that kill for himself. The Dragon Knight just going to be pushing in the mid. The fortification will be used. Will it be able to stop the tower going down? Can they possibly deny it here? Dragon Knight going to stun the Invoker, and that will be enough to get the last hit on the tower. Very well played there. So another even trade going out, but of course kills are infinite, towers are quite limited. So better gold going the way of Mirage. At the bottom lane, open wounds going to go on to Slug. He will pounce out, but a beautiful ice path used by Jakiro there. Will they be able to pick it up? No. The slow from the Venomous Gale is enough to disengage that one, and when all is said and done, the Mirage Gaming guys will force out OKE but not get a kill. Guide going to run next to the ward there as he goes back to the middle lane with the Dragon Knight continuing to farm up neck and neck with the Lifestealer in terms of CS, and the Illusion Rune spawns up the top.
Yeah, and the annoying thing is about that engage is that Slark is like, I don't know, two, maybe three creeps away from level 6, and he would have been back at full HP already and not caring about that. But he's got the potion out to him anyway. But I mean, if that was just a couple of creep kills
Radiant's
later, he would have been
mid tower could use a
fine
hand.
there.
Yeah, so well done by Mirage to force that potion to be used. 105 gold down the
Radiant's
tubes.
top
They're going to
tower's
engage
taking hits.
again. Slark going to pounce out, leave the poor Venno by himself. Lifesteal now does have the Infest, so if he needs health desperately, he can run into the jungle, get inside a creep, and burst out of it. Guide going to be down here with, so it is a 4v3, no, sorry, 3v3 with CM being in the mid. Going to take a lot of damage from the fire, as Turbulence going to clear out the ward. A lot of damage going on to Hillbilly at the bottom. EMP will land onto him. They're trying to get him down, but the Utility Invoker doesn't do that much damage. Lifestealer will end up getting the kill with the Ice Path. Not necessary in the end. Sledgehammer going to be stunned up. Is actually going to infest inside one of the creeps. They don't know which one it is, so he is working his way back. And they don't know, will he be able to burst out here? Is he waiting for his team to go in? Guide waiting off to the side. A Dragon Knight illusion there. Lifestealer still inside that creep. Tornado and EMP will go out, as will Ice Path. And now Lifestealer makes his triumphant return. Cold Snap going to be used on Vengeful Spirit. She will be stunned long enough for Guide to get his killing spree there. A lot of damage goes down onto the Dragon Knight. Macapire from Jakiro doing so much. And CM ends up picking up the kill for herself. A lot of momentum going the way of Mirage there. Beautifully played by Guide, who is now sitting at a 302 score after passively sitting mid. He now has Drums of Endurance. And TP's up top. Nice shackle goes onto Ice 3 there. Not going to be able to escape. The gold gets split again because of the creep. That was fantastic by Mirage.
Yeah, that was a great TP up top. That tower was probably going to go down if it wasn't the case. And I mean, this Invoker is currently everywhere right now. He's pretty much winning every single lane, and that's what I was talking about. Like I said probably the only way that they're going to win these mid-team fights is if this Invoker does snowball, and that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't do a heck of a lot of damage, but he is fast, and he's using that very well. So we can see the Windrunner going down to the bottom lane here. Will they be able to engage anything? Shadow Dance has been picked up by Crank Midget, and I mean Shadow Dance because I'm not British, and like those other people who call it dance. It is Shadow Dance Hawks, as Poison Nova is available on the Venno. Vengeful Spirit only sitting at level 4, so there will be no
Radiant's
swapping.
top
There will be a lot of
tower's
AoE dot damage though. Teleport coming in by the Jakiro as well. There are 5 members of Mirage down at the bottom lane. They want to defend this tower. They want to try and push their own. They're sacrificing the top tower at the moment. Dragon Knight going to take the safe way around. Guide going to be coming in from behind. Turbulence has no way to get out of this one. Cold Snap and Open Wounds going to lock him in place. And Vengeful Spirit actually going to disconnect as that happens, so hopefully they get the pause out. There they go. Armlet of Mordigian finished by the Lifestealer, so that is a big increase in damage. And yeah, things going from bad to worse for Killam.
Yeah, they're definitely on the back foot right now. One thing you also have to remember, this Slark is fairly skinny in comparison, and he's going to be the one mainly taking on the Lifestealer late game. I mean, the DK is going to be decently equipped enough, but he's not very farmed either, and he's having to, kind of go back and forth, and he's had a few deaths to his name. The only one who is really kind of sitting in lane getting the EXP, but probably not as many as last hits as she should, as the Death Prophet, and she's failed to take her tower yet as well, and that's going to get denied in a sec also.
Yeah, nice teleport by Guide. Will get silenced upon arrival, but yeah, so Guide knows exactly where he needs to be and when he needs to be there. Christina Perry still sitting in the bottom part of the river. Rune spawns in 15 seconds, is sitting on a full bottle with almost full mana. and a whole bar of health. So the bottom lane TPs by Mirage work out for them. They take down the Vengeful Spirit for some gold, although she is incredibly item independent. So taking away her golden XP, not the worst thing in the world for Ulkillum. But like you said, Hawks, the top tower, it was almost guaranteed, but it will now get denied by Guide. The mid tower, absolutely full health for OKE if they want to try and turn that one around. So the tower advantage is sitting in OKE's favour for the time being. But we talked about their pushing power. They've got to start using that because DP setting at top is not the optimal for them, with their tower being denied in the end. So we can see the Invoker going to strut forward now. There is almost no escape. Uses the Cold Snap, and now Ice Cube going to take a decent bit of damage. Gets knocked up before he can throw out the Exorcism, and Guy, just like that, going to pick up the kill. Vengeful Spirit is teleported in. Wave of Terror goes on him, but with Drums of Endurance and Phase Boots, there is no catching up to him. Beautifully played by Guy there. Meanwhile, at the bottom, Lifestealer going to pick up a kill on the Venno, who was left all by himself. This tower quickly going to fall, and Mirage taking a commanding position.
Oh yeah, that's all kinds of trouble ringing right now from the OKE guys. They are definitely losing this mid game, and that's where they were supposed to shine with this lineup off here. So there's going to be all kinds of trouble right here and now, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they do have the Dragon Knight and the Slug, both of which are very good moving into the mid to late game, but they need gold income for that. If we look at the net worth, there is a lot of green there. Windrunner just surpassing the Slug there. The Slug that did pick up first blood, so Mirage have done brilliantly to catch up in the time being. 5:03 on Guide as the Invoker. He's so incredibly quick, and he's picking up his Force Staff any minute now. Does TP down to the bottom lane where Ice has finally made an appearance, but just like that, gets open wounds. Nice Ice Path going to come out here, and now the Dragon Knight reveals his true form. EMP goes off to take down. No, Death Prophet's actually going to escape for the time being, as Guide going to pick up another kill. Has been pounced on. Will Dragon Knight better take that up? Frostbite stops him attacking. Freezing Field will ensure Guide's survival there. Sledgehammer going to chase after the Vengeful Spirit will settle for the Venomancer in the end. Windrunner comes in to take down the last hit. Death Prophet survives, but the rest of her team falls, with only Chikiro going down for Mirage. And they're going to continue this push here. That Frostbite by Blackout was absolutely key. It stopped Guide going down because, of course, it prevents attacks. And that's exactly what the Dragon Knight was trading his life to do. The bottom tier 2 going to quickly fall here. Slark cannot do a single thing about it. And just like that, the towers are all equaled up. But both of the towers that were taken down by Mirage gave them full gold. Are you there, Hawks?
Yeah, dude, yeah, it's just catching up slowly. Like, it's this internet at the place I'm staying at sucks.
Alright, so you just interrupt me when you've caught up. So we can see that Guide now has his Force Staff, could go for a Sheep Stick, or he hasn't got a single point in Exhort, really doesn't need it though. He is very much abusing the utility of Invoker, and is just attacking so quickly. Wave of Terror going to go out by Turbulence there. Stun on Lifestealer will not land thanks to the Rage, and this tower very quickly going to fall. The T1 at top, the only one left. Live, the Cyclone will not land on anyone except Christina Perry there. Exorcism coming in by Ice, as he actually takes down the Crystal Maiden. Nice shackle to disengage there, but Exorcism used to take down a Crystal Maiden, very much worth it, although they did lose their mid T2. Now there are 2 Force Staffs on the side of Mirage Gaming, and they're going to have to, well, it looks like a lot of pushing in the mid. Exorcism almost about to run out, so they're not going to be able to use it on the tower.
Oh,
and Guy,
that was close.
Yeah.
Did you see the pounce out there from Crank Midget?
Yeah, really I saw the very edge of it. Oh, that Cyclone does so much damage when they land. Tornado rather, and then of course the Power Shot does a lot. This Lifestealer going to get force stuffed right into Commander Hillbilly, gets open wounds, there is not much he can do. Venomous Gale not going to allow him to escape. Windrunner going to secure that kill, but she did use force stuff to engage, so fair enough. And now will Speedy Nick Invoker catch up to Turbulence here. EMP will land, does 129 damage, and I don't think VS can escape this one. Our last auto attack goes out. Now the Pounce has gone off onto Guide, but Crank Midget forced to back out there. Dragon Knight up at the top trying to get as far or catch up as well as he can, but Mirage storming into the lead at the moment. The tier 2 in the mid at full health, the T1 at top also at full, but they don't care about towers. They're going to continue going on. Ice Cube going to fall very, very quickly. Cyclone will lock up the Slug, and he gets locked up before the Pounce can come off of cooldown. Now Vengeful Spirit going to get a stun off on the Lifestealer, but the tower not going to do anything to help her there. Gets another kill for himself, has Infest up if he wants to get some help, but the mechanism popped by Sky there on the Windrunner. They're going to take down this tier 2 as well, and the tier 2 at the top lane for them not falling very quickly to the Dragon Knight. Did not want to be involved in those fights at all. He does now have the level 2 ultimate, so he does do the AoE. The Cyclone will end up landing on him. EMP going to pop as well. Cold Snap as well will keep getting stunned thanks to the damage of the Invoker. Not a lot Dragon Knight can do here unless he TP's out. Nothing Guide can do there. Used all of his hard crowd control and does manage to escape in the end after doing about a third of the tower's life.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's
And
bottom
yeah, so
tower.
Mirage doing very well at the moment, Hawks. There's, I don't think there's much OKE can do apart from try and reach that that late game.
Yeah, well, as I said, they lost the snowballing game. I mean, I still do think they have a stronger lineup in the end, but I mean, Slark is so far behind that I think it's nearly impossible at the stage. I mean, we're probably going to have a Sanj and Yash flying out to the Lifesteal if I had to bet on the check. And yeah, Sanj and Yash and an Armor. I mean, he is so far ahead right now. Like, it's just
beat down.
And forget about the Invoker. He's killing it as well. What's he going to go for next? Looks like it's going to be a Orchid Malevolent.
Oh, now Ice going to be engaged on. Exorcism will go out. Freezing Field used. Actually, the CM going to fall to Slark instantly takes her down. Commander Hillbilly can't throw out any spells thanks to the Cyclone. EMP going to explode and take down the Slark. Venno going to go down to the Windrunner, and now Sledgehammer has joined the fight, maiming onto the Dragon Knight here. Vengeful Spirit, the only one to survive, and that's because she was in the mid lane. CM, the only casualty for Mirage there, as Split pushed Jakira at the bottom lane, working on the creep waves. The tier 1 at top does fall. There is one structure left outside the base for OKE, and they may be throwing in the towel soon here, as Orchid has been finished on the Invoker, like you said, and there's just not much they can really do.
The Dire might want to
Yeah, they are in all sorts of trouble there. It looks like we've got another DC coming out. Probably the GGs too. Doesn't look like they've caused a dust flow.
Tower's getting beat down. Dire's got one last
Not much they can
tower.
do at all. The wards are being placed at the top tier 3. No pause coming out. I think the players have had enough of this game, but they haven't called GG just yet, so the game will not end. The ward's going to hold off the aggression for now, and I mean, of course, it helps when a Death Prophet runs up and insta gives the waves. Is a Roche on the table for the Mirage Gaming guys here? Could well be the Orchid Malevolence on its way on the Flying Panda Bear to the Invoker. Windrunner has got herself some key support items. Sitting on 3600, could go for maybe a Maelstrom or Majolinier or whatever it is. What is the Slug looking at? He's got his Drums of Endurance, working towards the Eye of Skadi maybe, or perhaps to a Yasha. How is the Dragon Knight doing? It doesn't have any real items at the moment. Has been killed too many times. Is sitting at 1, 4, and 1. So yeah, he's very much struggling to make some kind of item. He'd really like a Black King bar at this point, but it's very far away at the moment. As Ice Cube's going to be jumped on by the Invoker. Orchid Malevolent's going to be used. Not a lot he can do to escape this one. Dragon Knight not going to be able to stop that. Venomous Gale will miss, and he race cards his way out of there. as Ice Path will land onto Krang Midget in the mid. They will not engage that one, although Guide is considering it. He does invoke the Cold Snap. Once again, he has been using that skill perfectly, keeps popping it, and Roshan well on its way to dying here. The percentage damage of Feast is going to take him down very, very quickly. 4 stuff now finished on Jakiro as well. That makes 3 for their team. They're going to have a life stealer with the Aegis of the Immortal as Guide, putting way too much pressure on OKE for them to be able to do anything at all. The tier 1 bot at about half health is going to be completely ignored. They're going straight for the jugular here.
Yeah, they are going pretty balls deep, man, and it's not looking good at all. They, to their credit, the Oki guys really haven't given up yet. We do have the Cold Snap and the
and the Crystal Nova.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, it goes down, so the tower falling very low. Aegis gets popped, so very well used there. The tower will be disengaged for the time being. Dragon Breath and Crypt Swarm are going to be used to disengage there. So an Aegis for a Venomancer is not the best of trades, particularly when you're this far behind. But Mirage will be happy. They're going to continue pushing. The mana on the DP forces her to return to the fountain, where spirits will heal up to full health. Of course, there we go. The Vengeful Spirit does reconnect their Turbulence. Still doesn't have the Nether Swap. Poor guy has been denied much too hard. As well, the Mirage Gaming guys going to continue the push. They have all 5 of their members here, and this tower will not stand at all. Now the rack's being worked on. A single Plague Ward is the last line of defense. Gets taken down by Windrunner. Crypt Swarm not going to do much there. Neither is the Breath or the Wave of Terror. There goes one of the barracks. The range one being worked on. Sledgehammer takes a decent bit of damage there with the armlet turned on. As Vengeful Spirit once again disconnects, and Mirage just waiting for the creep waves at this point. So continuing to play smart with the Sledgehammer. It's going to take a big hit by the Crypt Swarm. Now the silence goes off on the Guide, as Shackle will not go from the range creep to a hero. And I'd say this is the beginning of the end here, Hawkswalk. You alright, boss? Just check if Hawkswalk is okay. He's lagging. Alright, so alright, we'll have to try and fix that one up. The bottom lane are going to be pushed in now. Is Death Prophet going to use the Crypt Swarm and start denying out the creeps? Okay, Hawkspot going to try and fix his net. Feel free to interrupt me when you're able to. Death Prophet going to continue farming up the jungle. Guide going to run forward, gets the Cyclone down, EMP as well. Another spell gets invoked, will be the Cold Snap, and Ice Cube cannot escape this one. The Crystal Maiden four-staffs her way in to try and steal it, but Guide will get it in the end as teleport used by Guide to start clearing away the towers. The Plague Wards at the bottom, tier 3. Not going to do too much to stop this push here. Sledgehammer just tanking them so much, has 300 gold. I think he's bought something because he should have a lot more than that. Crank Midget forced to stay back here, can't do a lot. Sledgehammer being aimed by all of the Plague Wards. The Macapie, no, sorry, that's the Jewel Breath goes out by the Jakiro, and now the rack's being worked on at the bot. The range barracks in the mid is still standing though, so that's something, I guess. Blink Dagger being finished by the CM so she can blink in and channel the freezing field. Both the barracks being worked on at the same time. The mid rack's going to go down to the creeps as the bottom ones go down to the entirety of the Mirage team. Guide well ahead of his team, already pushing up the top. And how you doing now, Hogswalk?
Oh, a little bit better, I think, man.
Well, the GG has been called, so well played by Mirage. And yeah, they took control of this game as soon as Guide got going, I think, Hawks.
Oh yeah, Guide definitely pulled his weight big time, man. He got a couple of really good ganks off that gank in the middle. Also helped him the smoke supports. So that gave him the start that he exactly needed to, run around and whoop some ass. That's what he did.
For For sure. Okay, thank you, ladies and gents, for tuning in. We will be going into game 2 here, so we'll have to see if O'Killam has something up their sleeve to try and come back from this defeat, or will Mirage take a 2-0 sweep? This is Coldblood and Hawksbox signing out.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't deal with this lag, man. It's fucking stupid. Like, I can barely even play games, so I'm just gonna let you solo it. I mean, you solo fucking